14H Caterpillar. This is the one I replaced the cable on. Slope sensor. Needs calibration. It's not matching both ways. If you go one way and then come back the other, it's not matching. So slope sensor, basically the blade is off. We'll just recalibrate the whole. Alrighty, let's take a look here. So that says negative 2.2%. Blade slope, blade rotation is at 14 degrees. That might be right. Main fall is at 26.1. That is not correct. We are sitting pretty level. Alright, so just square up the blade, square up the turret, square up the machine. This one was 26 degrees on the main fall. That means the main fall thinks it's at a 26, a positive 26, with the front end up 26.1%, which is a lot, and it's not, maybe 3%. So we corrected the positive 26 main fall that it had. It's actually supposed to be 0 because we're on a 0. Right now I got him going on his project and just putting in an offset where his blade is, because he's got to add like a foot there. Just putting in an offset. We can match, what we did here is we just matched the surface, but that doesn't help because it's just going to cut a flat plane instead of follow the project. I want to see the blade move to the project, and that's what he's doing now. So he's cutting, it looks like there's a lot of fill there, and then this is like a bowl area over here where you can put that. He's got to adjust his offset again. Yeah, that's a lot of fill right there. A lot of material to grab. Just pumped it up a little bit. And what we want to make sure is that it matches in both directions. When he comes back and makes a pass, his blade should be exactly where his blade is now. Yeah, there's quite a bit of fill over here. Beautiful, that's what we wanted right there, is one nice clean pass. Then he can come back in the opposite direction and make sure his blade matches. Turn around. Alright, let's see if we're matching grade here. Oh, we're digging. Why are we digging? I was wondering, that first pass he did by hand, so he's just trying to get down onto a flat to match his model so that we can have autos actually work. Yeah, you can mess around with the offsets and stuff like that, but he's just wanting to get straight down to his grade, which is fine. You might as well accomplish something while you're testing, you know. Go down 300s more?
7,000.
Oh, okay, so he's almost there. We close?
Feel a tenth. Both sides.
A tenth up. Yeah, see, there's something wrong with that main fall. That's the main fall right there that does that. just reset GPS elevation. His vertical is 400ths difference. That's just in the tolerances of the actual system. But you know, for him, right now he's probably about a tenth lower than his model, and he shouldn't be. So I'm trying to figure out if it's actually a main fall sensor going bad, or if it was just GPS that needs to be honed in better. We'll find out here in a second. And I need to check to make sure their model on here is the same as on there, because a lot of times they'll come out, you know, company will come out with an update and update one device and not update the machine, and that could cause issues too. So we'll see where that blade sets. Shouldn't be doing any digging, should be riding right on top of that surface. So for him to be digging over there like that, and I've already set that blade, see, he's going down even more. Yeah, this, I think we got a bad main fall. He's just continually digging. I have to check his settings and see what kind of offset he put in there. Alright, so he backed up, came back over that spot, it matched, besides this little bowl area that he cut out. I'm having him turn around and come back. He should be right on top of this surface right here. Should not be digging anything new. It should match. And if it doesn't match, you know, we got to look into a couple other things, so. Beautiful day in South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Weather's kind of nice. It's going to be like high as 60-something degrees today. Right now it's probably about 59-ish. Yeah, nice day to play with heavy equipment and GPS. See, now he's going to dig there, because that's going to dig a little bit there. Shouldn't dig that much. And once he gets to this spot right here, because this is where the bowl is, he should stop digging. That's going to fill. No, that's looking good. That's looking good. Looking a lot better, I'll tell you that. This is a real compact spot right here. Kind of jerks the machine a little bit. Yep. Yeah. That worked out right there. He's got a little low spot right here, just from when he came in. One of those other times, dug too much. You got to be consistent when you're cutting. You jerk the machine, you know. And plus his gains, I think his gains are at like 50, so they move quick. So, we'll see. I think he had a project issue. I've seen that a lot of times where, you know, they update the controller, but they don't update the machine. And it could be any kind of little update. Now let's see if that blade matches. Gets down right on that spot. You'll see a little material move, but you shouldn't see a lot. It should match on both left and right. Again, that GPS is about 1900s. It's bouncing around. Yeah, see, he's cutting a little bit there. Shouldn't be cutting that much. Oh, now it's fill. So he goes into a lull spot. I don't know. It might be those trees. I don't know. He loses GPS for a second, or precisions go down. back into that spot. Yep, try it again, yep. Alright, so for the most part, besides a couple spots where it just dives, you see it just dives right here. I have to assume, you know, it loses a couple GPS satellites and the precisions go up from 400s up to, who knows, you know, maybe a tenth or something, and it just decides, hey, I need to drop that blade. In actuality it doesn't, so it just depends on the spot you're in too. But he's got to maintain even speed as well, and I think we can definitely change his gains. 50 is a little bit high for his raise and lower. I dropped the lower down to 45. His raise is 50, so that's fast connection or correction. All right, so he's gonna dig in that spot a little bit because that's going uphill, but not okay. Shouldn't be digging that much. Well, he's got to take that hump out right there, and then come back, and it'll fill in these little pockets that he dug earlier. That's right on. Fill in that pocket. That looks like it's right on to me, doesn't it? It's going to fill in this pocket. Still taking material right here. This is where he's entering and exiting and lifting the blade, so it's going to pick up material here and pick up material there. But through the center right here, that blade should be roughly flat on grade every time, no matter what direction you go. And if it doesn't match, then something's wrong. Either your GPS is going crazy and not matching, or you got a bad main fall. The slope sensor, you'd know if it was slope because it would cut more on one side than the other. Right now he's matching on both sides, but the GPS is dropping and raising more frequently than it should. And with a single antenna, you got to keep it moving. See, he's digging little material there. That's where he enters. Yeah, see, he shouldn't be digging there. Shouldn't be digging. I gotta assume it's because of these trees right here. That's too much material. And then it bounces up. See, shouldn't be doing that. It wanted to drop right there. Alright, so just adjusted valve offsets, which were a little funky, but I lowered the gains. Gains were set at 50. I lowered them down to raise is like 35 and lower is 30, because as you see in here, that choppiness, that like that right there, that rutting, that could be too high of gains. So we'll see what the reaction speed is now of that blade, because he is moving really slow, so you don't need fast correction when you're moving that slow. Oh, that's looking better already. That's looking better already. Look at that. It's a nice pass. Picked up a little material there, just on the start. Now he's got a big fill here, which is a hole that he dug earlier. That GPS, you saw what happened. That just lifted about 2/10 right there. That GPS. It just raised that left side of the blade up about 2/10 right here in this spot. So we'll see on this pass here if he can maintain grade. have to find the calibration for the MC sensor on this GX60 software, because that's just for the pole. You just kind of tilt the blade forward and backwards and calibrate it that way. That could be an issue as well. So we're gonna have to check into everything. If we can't get it to match grade, we're gonna have to do a full calibration on everything and just see something. Something's weird. I mean, for that main fall to be at 26%, somebody was playing with some numbers. Alright, so here's the spot where his left blade lifted up 2/10. Filled right back in. Right on surface. Right on surface. Nice, look at that. Just picking up a tiny little bit of material. Still seems like that main fall is out just a tad. And this should be baby smooth. As you see, there's a little rise right here, a dip there, dip here. So, yeah, you see this rise right here? It's too much. There's a dip there. So we got it's a big rise right there. Big rise. Yeah, we got some issue going on. And I'm thinking it's got to be that GPS. It's not pretty at all as far as I'm concerned. A road grader needs to be really precise. And this machine just does not want to cut. So he started a little bit sooner than he normally does. That's why he picked up that material. You look at that blade. That blade is moving all over the place. Now it's digging. Okay. Yeah, we need to stop it right there. Alright, so yeah, I just went through the MC sensor, the trim calibration. That was off 0.6%, which isn't a huge deal, but could be enough to cause that issue. So everything, all the sensors are calibrated correctly right now. Let's see if we continue having this issue. Needs to match grade in all directions. Wherever you put that blade, just wanting to dig again. I don't know if he adjusted that offset or if it's the same. Yeah, see, it's doing a lot more fill now. That's actually back up to where the grade is supposed to be. Okay. That 0.6 degrees probably made all the difference. So now before he was digging too much, he was about 2/10 low. Now he's coming back up with his material where he's supposed to be, so good. We'll do a couple more passes and see what happens. He should take this material here and fill in this little bowl, and but he should be on this grade right here because he just cut that. too much material. Too much material. That looks a lot smoother coming this way. See what it looks like going back the other way. And that looks a lot tighter. That looks better. A lot better. Now we just need to get that blade to match coming back this way. Yeah, look at that. That looks a lot better. Still got a little high spot right there for some reason. Just probably really compact. Might have movement in that blade too. I haven't checked that yet. Worn out shims or whatever. Well, what we do know is slope sensor's working, his main fall is working, and his blade tilt sensor's working. Still wanting to cut material. When is it gonna match grade? It's gotta have a bad main fall. That's the only thing I can figure. That main fall's got to be going out. Look how much material he's adding here. Look at that. Interesting. Interesting. That's about a tenth of material right there that he just added from a pass. So what we'll have to do, we'll go through the main fall calibration again. It's got to be a main fall sensor that's going bad. That's the only thing that would really do that, changing directions. Yeah, this machine is still not cutting right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and swap out the main fall, test it real quick. We'll calibrate up that new one and see, because I mean that's pretty much a junction box for everything, and it acts as a main fall sensor for the entire piece of equipment. So, and that's what it seems like it's doing. It's got issues, but the values are holding on the inside, so weird. Oh, we'll swap it out and see. Oh, that one's a little cruddy, isn't it? You just never know what's going on with it. Definitely feels like main fall. Alright, let's swap it. Alright, brand new main fall sensor on it. We marked it in this spot. Now he's bringing it back. Do the final mark right here on this spot. So you start in one position, hit next, go and turn around, come back, park it on the same spot, hit next. And it's gonna, what it's doing is it's calculating its main fall slope at that spot, just like a smart level. 2 points of reference. Whoo, there's a storm brewing. Getting windy. Alright, so main fall is set. We're gonna take and bring him back to this spot, and we're just gonna start cutting. We'll cut a path that way, come back, cut a path this way, and see if it'll hold its grade on a 180, which it was not doing. see if it matches. I mean, that looked a whole lot better just on one pass. It's not all bumpity, and I think that main fall was bad, which makes sense because the MC2 sensor on it had a bad cable in it. It shorted out the system, so, and that's the junction box for everything. I can imagine that got pretty hot itself, and we still have to troubleshoot the MC2 sensor, the blade tilt sensor, because I don't have that on at the moment. I just put it on standard. I bypassed it. I think we have a bad sensor as well, the blade tilt. So right here he should be going into autos, and we should be matching the grade. Oh, that looks so much better. Look at that. That looks so much better. That looks so much better. The only thing is I have to bump up the gains for him because he moves a lot faster than the other guy. Alright. That looked a lot better. He took a little bit more material at first here, but he came back riding above it. I think we just need to change his gains a little bit. Alright, yeah, I just raised up his gains. He moves a lot faster, which means his blade has to correct faster than the other operator. So he's putting in autos now. Started out on a deep spot. I don't know why he's cutting so much at that spot there. Oh, he's running smooth now. Alright. That looks good. That looks much better. Much better. Still got a little high spot over here for some reason, and a low spot here. The blade corrected, might have been too fast of a correction. We'll see when he comes back what it does. He should start right around here. If he starts too close up that way, he's gonna take material out. Yeah, he's a much faster operator. Yeah, see, he's gonna pull some material off the top of that as soon as he puts it in autos. That can't be autos. There we go, now it's autos. Okay. That's looking good. That's looking good. A little bit high right there. Alright, we're gonna do, we're gonna calibrate this main fall one more time. That's looking better. Much better. I'll let him take this one pass right here and just take a look at it and see what happens. Right now he's pushing material back over the top, just a little bit of material back over the top of what he dug earlier. We'll see if it picks up that material on this run. It should hold it. As much as possible, it should hold it. Getting windy. Sorry for the wind noise, if there is any. I'm sure there is. It is strong winds. Okay, he's dropping down, going into autos. He's going to pull some material right there. Oh, that's actually looking good. That's looking good. It's holding that material that it first picked up. It dug a little bit right there. Still digging just a little bit. That's not bad. That's not bad. We don't have MC2 sensor working at the moment, so this is just standard without blade tilt sensor. Alright, we'll see what happens on the return. You're always going to push a little material or not because that GPS is adjusting. It's a few hundreds, so there's always going to be something on the pan. But you shouldn't be gouging, it shouldn't be doing whip-de-doos, it shouldn't look crazy, it should look nice and even on your passes. That blade's up too high. Alright, so now it just went into auto, and he's digging. Okay, he's digging at that high spot. It's too high right there. And that's close. Still filling material. Let's see how high that is right there. Yeah, that was ugly. You see how much material he pushed back? That was ugly. So, all right, what we need to do is we need to redo the main fall again, and I'm gonna lower his gains down just a little bit because that's where you get those whip-de-doos. All right, just recalibrated the new main fall. This is the second time. It didn't change. It stayed the same, negative 0.2% on this slope right here, which looks right. That looks correct. Nothing funky with that. I'm gonna have him run a couple passes. I changed his gains, lowered him a little bit. That doesn't look bad at all right there. He's on grade. Just has to match coming back. Look at that, nice. That's what I like to see right there. Now if we can only do that coming this way. Yeah, you can see there's a low spot here, high spot, low spot. So the change in the color of the dirt is what gives you that indication. Let's see if he can get his blade down and match coming this way. Picking up a little material. A lot of material. What in the world? He's digging. That's not right. It's not right at all. Took out like 1/10 of material on a return pass. That just doesn't make any sense. Now watch, when he comes back this way, his blade is going to be high. Yeah, his blade is high. Why did he take so much material on that pass? Look at how high that is. That's... now it's coming down. Still digging on that side. Alright. So what this says is we got a left side slope issue. Good grief. Not sure what the model says here, but this machine has been a nightmare. Give him one more try coming back and see what it looks like. If he starts pulling material, I'm going to set him on this spot and just fudge that main fault to 0.0 and see if it cuts. To me, it just seems like there's a multiple issues. Alright, he's in auto. It's cutting to that surface. And that looks good right there. That looks good. It's picking up just a little material right there. I still think that GPS is coming in and out. That doesn't look bad. One more time. That didn't look bad. We'll give him one more time around and see. Oh, the life of a GPS tech. Trying to get a machine to cut precision is a feat amongst itself. Alright, so he's going to put the blade down, go into autos. Really have to be moving when you do that. Just because it's a single GPS. Picking up a little material, more so on the... oh. It's picking up too much material right there. Oh, there we go. Now it's up too high. Now it's down low. Smoothing out. That is ugly. Coming back the opposite way is ugly. You see how much it's digging here? Basically that left side is dipping down. We're going to check that blade. Make sure the blade is straight. Too much material here, too much material here. That is ugly coming back this way. Good grief, what is the issue? Alright, so after calibrating that blade 3 different times, that time it was 1.1 on a 0. So weird. That's why it was digging on the left side. that looks better right there. Much better. Even though we're not moving material, we dug too much in the past, that's why. Just bring some material with you going this way. Alright, so I have him coming back. I'm gonna have him bring some material with him because he's gonna have to do some fill. There we go, perfect. So he'll lay a fill layer in here, and then when he returns back, we'll see if it matches. The blade's adjusting right. It's nice, not too fast, not too slow. Looks all right. And he's gonna run out of fill right about there. That's looking much, much better. Yeah, much better. Holding grade now. Weird. That's looking better. Alright, so now if he can come back, hit this spot, and actually be on it. Alright, we'll see what happens here. This looks good. I'll go in and I'll change it from standard to 3DMC squared, and we'll activate that tilt sensor and get that working. Hopefully it works. We have to calibrate it. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. Look at that. That's what he just, where he was, both right and left is what you're looking at. Pulled a little material off that right hand side over here. One more pass. Well, here comes the rain. I'm just watching that right and left corner of the blades, making sure it's matching what it just did. That right side's diving down. Looks pretty close. That looks pretty close right there. It's a little high on the left. There's a big hole that he dug earlier. I'm gonna say that's pretty close right there. It's not smooth by any means because we've cut way too much out of here. I need to offset them down a little bit if we want to smoothen this out. I'll have him do that. I adjusted his offset. We're going a little bit deeper. I want to cut a little bit more material to fill in some of these holes that we dug out earlier. I think I went the wrong way with the offset. Dipping down on that side. Go. That's that high spot. Alright, that looks much better. Got that big hump out of there at least. That's looking better. I'm going to drop them down a little bit more. Alright, that's looking a little better now. At least for a standard system with no MC square 3DMC sensor activated, which it has it on, it just didn't want to calibrate. So I changed the main fall And that seems to be helping out the standard system. I'm hoping I can at least calibrate the MC2 sensor now. That should be riding right and left on this grade that's already here. Why is he diving on that right? Got to be that tilt sensor. And that left side looks good. That's following. He just grabbed a little material on that right side. Yeah. Pulling out that high spot in the middle. Compact spot. Oh, why is it digging like that? Yeah, this is by far the worst cutting machine I have seen in a grader so far. Just doesn't want to get right. I swapped the reference line. I moved it all the way to the left, so now it's going to be referencing over here just to see what's going on. See how high that is? And that's not even matching until he gets to that spot. Some spots it'll match, some spots it won't. Right now it's matching. And there it goes. It went up. Diving down. Going up. Diving down. That just, I mean, that thing just cuts ugly, 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 ugly. Constantly going like this. But it's not maintaining its elevation. I don't know what else to do to this machine. I've done everything. There's one more trick we can do. I'll eliminate the project completely and put this on a flat surface. I'll make a flat surface and we'll run it that way because I need to eliminate this model. If it's a model issue, a corrupt file, reaction time for them autos. Ugly, look at that. Ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Now it just finally went down. Ugly. Alright, we'll do a flat surface. We'll eliminate the project completely. Alright, so I eliminated the model, just created a flat surface. Boy, that is cutting nice now. Look at that. Started them way over here so that we could put some material down inside this flat belly beast that we created. All right. Yep. And that still doesn't look flat, does it? It's got a little hump to it. That's not a flat surface. Man, what is this thing doing? What is this thing doing? If it can't create a flat pad, a flat surface, without the model, it's got an issue. We'll see when he comes back on this spot if he cuts the same grade or not. Might move a little material just because he was cutting a new path. Alright, he's going to put it back in autos. Right now. Why isn't the blade dropping? What in the world is that thing doing? Look at that. Look at how high that is. Oh yeah. If it can't cut a flat surface, something's wrong. Look at that. Alright, so this is the original flat cut that it started out with. It's following it. But as it comes back, it will not. Still up a little higher than it should be. All right, same flat surface, same measurements, same everything. That blade should be riding right on top of this surface without any issues. Look at how high it is on the left side. Oh, there we go. Now it's finally, it's still up about 2/10 high. 3/10 on the left side. Look at that. It's not even following the same surface. Not even on the same surface. Good grief. That's with a brand new main fall sensor. Alright, now we're back to the model. He's outside his window. His blade's not going to move. Unless that's the, yeah, I think that's the original surface. They got to put fill in here. Alright, so we're on the project. Disconnected the MC square sensor itself, completely disconnected. And look at the big gap in that spot right there. I mean, this thing has just been digging. Right there is about 5/10 lower than grade. And it's holding it. But look how much material we've had to take out just to run this machine to try to get it to flatten out. Alright, just reset his grade. Now he's going to push a little material in here. I had to get down to the bowl of that. You're going to hit this big clump of material. You can feather it out. You feather it out. Alright, hopefully, I think between the movement in the blade and something else going on is what's causing these irregular cuts. It's got some movement in that blade. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's not the greatest either. So he should be flat right there on that spot. He'll hit this spot, carry this dirt forward. Let's see if he matches grade there at least. Everything says main fall, but it's got a brand new main fall on it. It's just the strangest thing. Oh, he's gonna start way up there. Okay, he's gonna carry some dirt forward. We'll have to do another pass. I didn't know he was gonna start that far forward. That blade is diving. It just dove. It's diving. Right there should be cutting the same as it just did. It should be on the surface of that. And it's not. It's cutting. It's cutting. Cutting. Alright, so pretty much down to I don't know what else to do moments. So I went in the system. Basically just started a new machine file. You know, the file that has all your calibration and measurements and everything in it, radio control information. So I'm not using their old one. I started a brand new one. Let's see what happens. Sometimes a corrupt file, a corrupt machine builder file can cause issues. We have to assume there's something like that that could be fixed. Looks like he's going to take a little bit of material out. This machine, what it's doing, we did 7 passes. Seven passes back and forth. Every single pass, it cut more and more and more and more and more. Every single pass, it cut something out. So on the very first pass that we did, we created this level. It should have returned on that same level, but instead it cuts them out, returned again, cuts them out, cut, kept cutting to where we are now. It's almost like the GPS isn't holding or something, it just keeps on cutting. Weird. Cannot find grade. Cannot find the grade to the model. I mean, sooner or later, I got to be able to find something that's wrong, right? So far, the only thing I saw that was wrong was the main fall when I first got here was at 26.1%. That wasn't correct, so I calibrated that. I mean, it's cutting. It's just, it keeps cutting every single pass. It's not returning on the same grade that he just went down. Again, it's cutting again. Shouldn't be doing that. Not to mention, it just created a big, huge lump right there. Look at that. If that's not the ugliest cut I've ever seen come off a grader, I don't know what is. It's just ugly. The only thing I can figure at this point is their main board is bad. Somewhere in their main board where all the numbers come together and it computes, you know, where to find grade to the model based off all the sensor numbers, all the GPS data. It's not meshing, it's not matching, it's losing its information, it's all over the place. There's a giant hump right here. I mean, that was cutting good, but it shouldn't have been cutting. Cutting in both directions. Won't find grade. Not finding grade, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So he said he had to fill a hole in. Ugly. That is just ugly. Ugliest work I've seen a grader do. Something's up with this system. Looks like it's holding it down there. Is it gonna match grade coming back? Looks like it's digging. It's digging. Should not be. Now it's at grade. Digging. Whew. Man, that is ugly. Look at that, high point, high, low, high, just all over the place, just all over the place. I don't know, I'm at my wit's end. That grader made such a mess, we had to call in the dozer to create a fresh path for us. That grader just keeps wanting to dig down, down, down. I'm curious to see what this machine does because it's also on autos. Same model, same base, so we'll see. He's going to create a flat pad, something that we can run off of and check. But it doesn't solve our problem with that grader. It just wants to keep cutting down, down, down. As you see, we got a lump here. Alright, so the dozer has created a nice little pass for us. He's going to, it's got the same model, it's got the same information. He's going to take and run this pass, and it should be right on grade. Shouldn't want to dig. Shouldn't want to fill. But we know this machine wants to dig. Dig, 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 dig. We'll see what happens. There it goes, digging. He'll come back on the same path and see if it matches. It's probably about a 1/10 lower than what that dozer just did. Digging. Digging. Alright, we just reset the blade to match the grade according to the rover. Built a new machine, or not a machine file, built a new project, basically copied it out of the rover, renamed it, put it into the system with a different name so that it doesn't overwrite what's already there, and whatever is corrupt remains corrupt. So it's running off of whatever came straight out of the rover with a new name. So hopefully that will solve any project issues, if there is any. Other than that, I just don't know what to do. I've thrown everything I know at this machine today. I mean, everything I know. So, interesting. It needs to match grade, and it's not. It keeps wanting to dig every pass. It's not holding at a certain grade. Once you make one pass and you come back, it should match that pass. It doesn't. It wants to keep digging. So we'll take this pass here and we'll come back and see what it looks like. Alright, so second pass, and we're only 2/100ths difference right there. He just grabbed some material to fill in the low spot from what it dug earlier, so he's going to check with the rover and see how close we are. He says it's good. So the test will be one more pass coming back and see if he can match this grade. Good. So what it was the project. The project that was loaded in that machine was corrupt. And when I had transferred it earlier, I just transferred it straight out of the rover into there with the same name, which just overrode it. But it overrode it and it kept the corruption on the machine. You know, sometimes that's an issue. So you have to rename the project, and that's what I did. I renamed the project, then I loaded it into the machine, and sure enough, look how it's cutting now. Look at how it's cutting. So, good grief. It's holding perfectly now. Look at that. That's how it's supposed to look right there. That I've been fighting for all day. And it ended up being a project that was in the system that was corrupt. That one can go back to work. Thank God. That's the way it should cut right there. Should be matching that surface, and it's right on it.